you. We've got all dreams, and it's nice to dream. It's important to dream, but we can't stay dreaming. So the reality, how are we going to translate the dream of the Africa Agency into reality? And that's the goal of my talk. The Africa Agency, how does it work? Now, there's over 1.2 billion people in Africa. I don't know how many villages. I don't know how many languages. All I know is it's a lot. So sometimes, well, at points during our discussions about the agency, I would say to the Lord, it's impossible. How are we going to do this? We are mad. But then but then we heard about Noah building a ship. It took him 120 years. And there were no electrical machinery to even make the wooden planks that are used for the boat. Everything has to be done by hand. We can go through God asking Moses, take 2 million people into the desert. Now, I'm an engineer. I know what it means to give water to 2 million people where there's nothing. I won't talk about sanitation. It's a huge, impossible task. So we shouldn't shy away from the impossibility because our God has created the earth. So it's for us to journey with him. He's got the solution. The earth belongs to the Lord and the fullness thereof. God has got a plan for Africa. I don't know what it is. But what we do know is that we can work with him and find out what that plan is. That's part of our journey. That's part of the thing that grips my heart, to partner with God and find that solution. Okay, so the Africa Agency then will facilitate. Now, important, the word is facilitate. We are not going to do everything. We are going to facilitate willing communities all over Africa. So it's important. The first step is that there must be a community who's willing to take responsibility for their own situation. They've got a felt need, but we will require them to take responsibility for that need. We are not going to impose anything on anybody. To align the community with God's principles. I studied with Pastor Shagan and in the ICLD, and the important assignment was find in the Word of God principles for your sector. My sector is water engineering, and I could find over 800 verses in the Bible that talks about water. How to manage it? Everything is in there. We need to discover that. Then the cultivation of a vibrant and peaceful community. Now, it's not good enough to have a peaceful community, because a peaceful community can sit and do nothing. So therefore, the two words, vibrant and peaceful. Then to responsibly steward the resources that God has entrusted to them. You can show me nowhere on earth where there's not resources. And those resources were placed there by God right from the beginning. It's for us to discover that and to now find ways to multiply and to work with those resources to create something from it. Now the process, step one, is a community with a specific need may learn about the Africa Agency, and Professor Ojo will talk about how we can market the agency. They learn about the agency and they approach it for assistance to address this need. They may contact the country coordinators of the agency. So every country will have an office, which is then that country's coordinated office. Or the agency may learn about a community with a specific need and decide to offer assistance. Step 2, the community now file an application for assistance on the Africa Agency website, or make contact by email or telephone with the country coordinator's office, who will then assist them in completion of that application. We need certain information before we can plan properly. So in that application, we will then acquire that information. Now, in step 3, the office now of that country appoint a reconnaissance team of 2 or 3 people to visit the community. Now, the team consists of a person who can assist the spiritual and social climate at that community, and there's 1 or 2 persons that go along that now can assess the practical issues involved. That's why in that application we want to know what is that felt need, so that we can link the right people to visit that community. Now, what will that team do when they get on site? They will explain the modus operandi of the agency. And that, in short, entails that you as a community, you've got this felt need. What do you have? What do you see need to happen? And what can you offer? Many communities are very poor, but every community can offer some labor. They must now decide what can they do themselves. Who will be the people with whom we can make contact, and who will on their side motivate that community to become part of this project. Let me give you a simple example. We've constructed a school up in the mountains. It's very remote. And so they contacted us after some time and said the windmill has stopped working. And what now? So me and Pastor Shegan went there. And it's basically a simple problem. It's a seal on this windmill that has collapsed. They did not know how to repair it. And there's some pipes that's been damaged. So that's a relatively small project that can be easily rectified. But for them, it's a difficult problem. They do not know in the first place what the problem is. And secondly, to get somewhere there, they don't know who to contact. There's not good cell phone reception and so forth. So that's typically a place where the agency can come in, and that's what we see at first. The project is so big, or the whole work of the agency is so big, we will start small. We do not have lots of money to pump into this endeavor. But we will start with what we have and proceed then in a small way and grow it from there. They will also establish then community links. Who are the people we are going to work with, or will be the communication link. And then we will also assess the current spiritual climate. Now, we of Africa, we know that spirituality and our backgrounds, our culture, are closely interwoven. It's not, you can't talk about spirituality without talking about culture. You can't talk about culture without including spirituality into that. So they will assess the climate, see what is the actual situations, and there may be things that may prevent us from doing what we see is necessary to be done. They will assess the practical aspects, the next one, they assess the practical aspects of the felt need of the community. They will then report back to the office, And the office now will prayerfully assess the report of the reconnaissance team and make a decision, go, no go, or not now. Now, let me just quickly say, when we say prayerfully, we now communicate with God in this regard. The wisdom of God is available to us. And that's why we will engage with Him to help us find the necessary solutions. Now, if they decide not to go, they will nevertheless keep the communication links open. There may be reasons why we cannot immediately proceed with that specific project. It may be too big to us, or the community has not buy into the process. Then step 4 is the office will now prayerfully assess the report of the reconnaissance team. Oh, sorry, this slide has been duplicated. The step 5, if the office decides that it's a go, they will inform the community of the acceptance of the application. They will inform them of the contribution, monetary or otherwise, that will be required for them in order to proceed. Now, this is an important thing. In order to proceed, the ball is now in their court. When they are ready, then we will continue. The slide, let me just see. Okay, the community now agrees to their part. And then we will then assemble an action team from the data that we've received, and we will set up a database of volunteers. Now, it was interesting that yesterday when we met with the agency, the Israel agency, they also made use of the Jewish agency. They also made use of volunteers. Now, we will then source people which is on their heart to. It's on their heart to do something, and there's a lot of people that are prepared and willing to give of their abilities. And now we talk. It can be doctors, it can be teachers, it can be engineers, it can be plumbers, it can be anybody that's got some skill that they want to offer for this specific project. It may be a 2-week project, it may be a month, maybe even longer. But we will first draw then on our database of people that's willing to offer their skills. Then we will arrange a workshop with that team to brief them on the situation there and what will be required. Now, as soon as the community is ready with their contribution, step 7, we will then instruct our support team, who will consist of permanent staff, to make all the necessary logistic arrangements, airfares, passports, whatever is necessary to get that team into the position. And they will then, obviously, materials will not necessarily be available at the remote rural areas, so they will then obtain also what is necessary and take that along. The action team is then, step 8, is then dispatched to the community to address the need, and in the process, they build relationship with the community. Now remember, our purpose, our main purpose, is not to address the felt need. The felt need is our passport to go to that community, or our visum, if I can call it that way. It's the community, it's our access card to that community. So they will build a relationship with the community, and through their work, they demonstrate the love of God to that community. They look out for other opportunities to build up the community, either by themselves, because there's one project, there may be other similar projects, or there may be a need for another type of team. maybe they repair the well, and they see there's a need for a clinic. So they can then come and report back and say, there's another opportunity in that community, and we need such and such a team. So that is one of the opportunities where the agency can then come and offer something to a community. And then, obviously, we will always report back to the community. Step 9, then, is the office now decides on the way forward to address the social, cultural issue that is keeping that community underdeveloped. And then proceed to put a plan together to address that. So this is, in short, then, what we see, the process that we will go about to address the needs. Thank you.